Butterfly Evolution Radio Show and or YouTube Live. We will be with you shortly. Until then, enjoy Misty Mountaintop. And as you listen, I want you to vision you on top of the mountain with your favorite guy, favorite girl, and imagine you having a beautiful, connected relationship. Thank you. We'll be with you soon. I'm adding you back to the live stream. Make sure your phones are muted.
Peace and blessings, good people.
All right. So check y'all's volume.
Tammy, you coming through twice. You must got something turned up.
I might. It just may be me.
Yep, there's an echo.
That was me. No, it's what? No. So I have mine off. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Something's coming through twice.
Hold on, I got mine all the way up. Let me turn mine down some.
Yeah. Cool. There we go.
Yep, there you go.
Nick is the villain tonight. What's going on, you guys? I'm telling you, I almost said, let's not do this tonight. It's been a day. Let me get,
I feel that it's been a past couple weeks. So like we've been doing like 5-year plans already. So this is our quarter month. So I will say
work related stuff.
Oh yeah. So it's been like 13, 14-hour days since last Wednesday. So, but I've been working out. So my energy level after I hit 8 hours, I hit my second win is ready to go. So,
what do you do, Nick?
I'm a corporate financial analyst at Genesco. They're a public company. So if you ever heard of Journey's Kids, Shoe, Johnson & Murphy, we are the parent group of that. And so,
very cool.
Yeah. So that's my, I love finance, but it's part of the year. And so I feel like LeBron in overtime, without the choking.
Cool.
Well, where is Brother Trent?
We scared him off last time. He had to pick a side and he didn't know how to pick. Here we go. Only the best survive, right?
Nick, get used to this.
Yeah. Only the best survive and stays alive, He couldn't take all three of us, right? Although Rodney tried to get on his side last week, but
oh Lord,
I can only speak my truth.
Payback is coming, though. Payback is coming. No, it's all good. Did you guys get a chance to go back and listen to the show last week?
I did.
I did not.
I actually had. So I have a really good friend. Miss Tammy, I need to get you connected. I have a really good friend in Atlanta named Taylor. So she's like a relationship coach and all that.
Is it Taylor Talks?
No. I'll send you her website. But anyway, like she stays in Atlanta. We're like-minded. And when I mean to tell you, out of this world, I'm gonna send you her information right now. Matter of fact, I'm gonna message it to you.
And for you guys, we love connecting with like-minded people. Like that is a vision of. I don't know if Rodney even remembers this, but we had talked about a little bit about that. I won't give it all away, but like-minded people. So if you know some like-minded people that you'd like to connect with us, please let us know. Interviews for interviews or anything like that. So please keep us connected because this transformation thing is serious and much needed for the journey and for true change to take place. So thank you for that, Nick. So
Mm-hmm.
welcome everyone. Just to let you know that you can comment in the comment section there. We will try to do our best to go back and forth. Mark, shout out to you out there. I see your comment there. So thank you again for choosing us tonight. Sorry we're a little bit late getting on, just life happening. So Rodney, how things going with you before we jump in?
Everything is good here, Tammy. Everything is good. Tamari is good. Nadia is good. In fact, Tamari is on her way to pick up Nadia as we speak. So everybody's good.
And for
Winding down
those
the
of you
street.
who don't know who Nadia is, Nadia runs the house there at Rodney's house. She's
Nadia
Rodney's
runs her
baby
mouth.
girl.
I don't know about anything else. She runs her mouth.
No,
She runs her mouth
Nadia,
very well.
yeah, Nadia is on a whole, like these kids are today anyway, but Nadia takes it up to another level. Like she is, I don't even know if I told you, Rodney. One day she called me and, hey, Miss Tammy. And I was like, hey, Nadia, where's your mom? She's in the kitchen. I'm like, you might better take her phone. So, like, I mean, she is on just a whole nother level. But great thing. So we'll get going. We have another message here. After a grueling day of therapy, I'm laying low, Tammy Gator. Don't make me chime in. Yeah, put it on therapy. I thought you were living outside the box. So anyway, you guys, we'll keep it moving. Thank you for tuning in. Butterfly Evolution Radio Show, Relationship Table Talk. We have another part two of relationship dynamics. Hopefully, you guys had a chance to listen to part one. If you did not, please go back and listen to it. You guys, I have listened probably 3, 4 times because it was really good. And every time I listened, I got something greater out of it. Thought provoking really led me to go even a bit deeper. And I don't know how deep I am mentally, physically prepared to go tonight, but I'm going to give it a shot. Again, we're going to do this probably at least 2 more Tuesdays, you guys. Um, and then Nick's going to be doing his thing, hopefully starting next Thursday. So
Right.
we'll talk more about that, asking you guys to support him as well through the journey. And we'll have more information about that next week. We'll have everything kind of finalized next week. Want to remind you, Rodney, Butterfly Evolution trash can, baby. You want to do that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. If you guys have not done so already, uh, you really should. It is an eye opening experience. And what we ask you to do, right, Christine, because she moved her trash can a couple times, and and she's let me know that it has not gone very well. But but we encourage you guys to move your trash can to a different location, and it could be any trash can. It could be at home. It could be at work. Any trash can that you use on a regular basis. We encourage you to do that just because it is symbolic of what we try to promote here on the Butterfly Evolution Show, and that is change and transformation. And oftentimes we don't do well with change. We live on autopilot and don't even realize that we live on autopilot. We get we get stuck in our own ways. We get stuck in routines, and things are just automatic. And so we encourage you to move your trash can, um, and see how many times you go back to its old location.
Mm.
And then the more you do that, think about the number of times you go back to other locations or other situations that are not there anymore, that are not the same anymore. It is very eye opening. And I remember few months ago, Tamaria like moved the trash can, or I moved it, and Tamaria ended up putting trash where where the trash normally is, and I'm thinking I'm about to season my scallops, and there's and there's trash in there. And it becomes, if it is a shared trash can, it becomes a more interesting experience, because now it's not just you using that trash can, or you have to get used to that trash can being moved. Other people have to get used to it as well. So we encourage you to do that. We always encourage you guys to share with us your experience. Um, we would love to hear about it. Love to hear about it. But do that and watch what it does for you personally. Tammy.
Yes, I just want to reiterate that. Nick, I don't know if you did that, but we'd like for you to do that if you have not already, you guys. And it does, it truly does. I still do it. I did it a month or so ago. Um, I still do it. I still learn, because when I do it, it makes me think about the big picture, the broader picture. Where am I getting stuck in life? Why do I keep returning? So it's not about the trash can. It truly is about the journey of transformation. And you know if you're on it or not. You absolutely know if you're on that journey. I put a post out there, and then we'll get started. I put a post out there earlier, and I know some, and I tagged Kevin Douglas in it just because I've seen something from him about the numbers on 11. I'm going to do a show on that, because just because of how it has showed up in my life for many,
Mm.
many, many, many years now. And there is some, so for those of you who are, I'll say it, holier than thou, please don't think that we're into all this other stuff. Not, because the Bible is full of miraculous things, miracles, spiritual wonders and signs. Like, it is full of them. So it amazes me how often when we hear things, like things that are outside of the norm from other people, how we judge them. So for me, I see 111 all the time. And I have for many, many years. It got to the point where people will call me or text me, take a picture and send it to me, because they just know the story for me. And then, long story short, my first grand was born on 111. And for a long time after that, I did not see it. I gradually started seeing it again. So, I took so much from that, but not what we're here for tonight. So let's get going. So you guys, I listened to the show several times, and I want to speak on behalf of the ladies, women. One, because I am a lady and I am very, very misunderstood from time to time. And after listening to you guys, not all of you, a couple of you in with us tonight, well, maybe one of you in with us tonight. Nick, you were. I got a lot of things about you saying. Nick seems like he tries to understand us.
I'm
I
pretty
get it.
fair.
I
Yeah,
get it. We are complicated. I get
we
it.
all are. We
I
all are.
and I do agree. I think we are complicated in the same kind of different way, if that makes sense. And it
Mhm.
probably doesn't. So a couple of things I wanted to really get out there, and we talked more about what do women want and what do men need, and I put it in that way because I do feel like we often get what we want twisted. And when I say we, ladies, stay with me, because it may sound from time to time that I'm not on your side. And I am, but I'm also on the right side, the true side. And there's some truth to some things that were said. Um, and I'll use y'all's word, average. I don't like the word, but average, because I think it puts women, it allows us sometimes to put women in this box. I think that there are some things that we may be seemingly, it seems like we're all the same, but we are so different because we come from different places, and our perception of where we come from and how those things have shaped us or not shaped us is totally different. So I wanted to get that out. I don't like that word average. Just like I don't like when women say all men are dogs or all men cheat, because that is so far from the truth. And I said that last week, that we have some really good men. So I wanted to start there with average, but I asked this question on Saturday to someone that I have a lot of respect for, older gentleman. So I asked him, what do you think? And I'm going to share this with you guys. I said, what do you think? He didn't watch the show, any of that. So he had no idea what I was talking about other than the question that I asked. And I said, what do you think the difference is with women today versus women then, men as well versus that time, and marriage itself? His first sentence was, women had much more respect for their man back then. He said men had more of a right to that respect. So it's a twofold thing. And this man is 75, been married 40 plus years, 45, 46 years. So he brings something to the game. He says, let me see now, make sure I read this right. So he says men are more into sports, their jobs, and they don't really include family or children oftentimes. Okay. He's saying now it seems like men are just into other things more so than women. And I'm going to stop halfway and we'll do some of the others later. Men were more responsible. And again, you guys, this is coming from a male, not me. They don't really communicate, but he did say that he thinks was just set up that way, that the course of life has set it to where it doesn't make it safe. Men don't always feel safe in communicating what they need to. They said women expect the honeymoon to last forever, and they are unable to endure difficult times, as it opposed to women back then. And it seems that they need constant validation. So, all from the 70-plus-year-old and his wife. His wife was there as well. Then about marriage. Marriage today is less spiritually based. Man was head of the household back then. Women were more spiritual. So that was deep. Like marriage was more spiritually based, but he said women were also more spiritual. So those were very interesting coming from someone, again, who's been married for that long. I also wanted to address, and I'm going to throw it out there, and y'all just take it all. Rodney, I remember I think you talked more about the understanding, right? Was one of the needs. I threw out the question, 1 to 3 things that men need. And it was understanding that I got from Rodney the most. And then respect was the one that I got from you, Nick. And so it was interesting that this 70-plus-year-old said women had much more respect for their men. So start there. True or false? Why or why not?
There's some truth to that. I think today women have more freedom as opposed to back then, and I can speak more toward my generation and kind of what I see. Women have, which is a very great thing to have freedom freedom, right? As opposed to back then where, there were these defined roles and things like that, right? I do think that when it comes to how I see back then as of today, a lot of what the gentleman with conversations you had, there's a lot of truth to that. People, I see marriage today as like a depreciating asset. Like, people don't get married for the right reasons. People, there's more. People get married more for either how it looks, or they feel like they have to be at a certain place at a certain time. Not a lot of people understand how transformative, a marriage is, right? They don't, phrase this. A lot of people don't understand how transformative that dating and courting and getting to a relationship and mastering those before you get to marriage. So chances are, when you haven't, mended those fences in the dating and relationship phase, what makes you think marriage is just going to cure it all away? It's not, right? I think today more than ever, what I see, and it was interesting because I was talking to Taylor about this. I was texting her maybe about a couple hours ago. I said that ever so today, it feels like men and women have a hard time relating to each other.
Do you think that that's because it seemingly the roles, or do you guys think that the roles are switching to a degree, meaning, or maybe not switching, but we're becoming like
They're
there's
evolving.
no
They're evolving.
right. So
I do think that. Oh gosh, I want to be very careful about what I'm about to say here, because I know it's going to trigger some people, but I want the smoke. It don't
sometimes
matter.
trigger is good. Sometimes we
Yeah,
need trigger.
I'm with this. This is what we have to understand. We have to understand that, as I said last week, you have masculine energy, you have feminine energy, right? What I see today is more women taking on masculine energy, right? And you have a masculine man who has masculine energy. You have a woman who has masculine energy. That does, just in nature in itself, that does not work well with one another. Doesn't balance each other out, right? That may work well in the workplace and things like that, but when it comes to the confines of a relationship, you need that balance, right? And so what I see is just more of, and again, I want to be clear. I'm glad that women have the freedom to be able, because for so long that they didn't, right? So in that essence, I'm glad to see women empowering themselves and things like that. I'm all for that. But when it comes to this is my last point. When it comes to the relationship aspect of it, at the end of the day, men have a hard time relating to women, and women have a hard time relating to men because of not clearly defined roles and energy.
How do we define those roles in a day like today, where the freedom, in some way, I believe the freedom and the independence that freedom allows, and then some other things as well, you guys, because people just, let's face it, we run into people and we do try to love the red flags away, and I think that's because we are, ladies, I'm going to say it like I said last week. I think, Rodney, you and I were talking about, um, somehow the question came up and my answer was, I just think, oh, it was about soulmate. I think that the average woman, and I'm going to use that word because that's what we were using last week, is looking for a husband or needs that validation. So there's something that we buy into the world. Like we buy into whatever the world says should be happening, and the newest thing, that's what we allow or we use to value, to determine or to measure our value. So Rodney, how do you, well, there's a lot, we've said a lot, so I don't know if you writing some stuff down. I have, so I'll just go back. Have at it.
Somebody said, "Can we say alpha instead of masculine?" uh, um,
Alpha for the women.
I'm guessing because it was while Nick was talking. So here's my thing, and even going back to what the gentleman said to you this weekend. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about last week's show, and I was just kind of sharing like the different perspectives, and this person was talking about how the feminist movement has really given people like it's really done more damage than it has good, basically, if I were to paraphrase, because it has made women feel like men are the enemy when they're not, and it's turned into a competition rather than a partnership or togetherness. And there's this constant battle for power. There's this constant battle for I am equal, or things of that nature. Like they're like it's gotten to a point where pride is a major part of it. And he was saying how he was having a conversation with some females, and he said he flat out asked them. He said, if we're out in public and somebody draws a gun on us, they pull out a gun. He said, what would y'all expect me to do? They said, step in front of me, or risk your life or mine, or whatever. He said, well, I expect that of myself. He said, that is my job. He said, I would expect nothing less from myself. He said, now, why is it that that can be your expectation of me, but there's a problem if I ask you to fix me a cup of coffee? So, and he said,
that is deep, Rodney.
Well, well, and he said,
Wow.
I totally get it that, coffee is an everyday thing, and not every day somebody's pulling a gun out on us. He said, however, you're asking me to put my life on the line for you. He said, and because of the man that I am, I'm going to do that anyway. He said, but if I ask you for a cup of coffee, all of a sudden, I ain't your maid, I ain't your mama. Like, why I gotta do all this? Make your own coffee. And he was like, so this whole thing is a joke. He was like, because what you are expecting from men, which is life or death, you're not even willing to lift a finger, but you want me to stand there and take a bullet? And so I said to him, I said, you know what? I said, one of the things that I've been seeing, the last couple of years, when people talk about men versus women and equality and, the feminist movement and all these things, I say, here's the thing. And Nick touched on this a little bit. It's all about convenience, right? Because if you're really about equality, or if you're really about things being the same, when is the last time you saw a woman pay $20 to get in the club because every man has to pay $20 in the club? Ain't nobody doing that, because you know what? In that instance, equality doesn't matter. It don't matter. Why? Because the woman gets in for free. So why would they care? Right? Well, I hope you got $20, bruh. you know, you know, and so I like for me, I agree with the gentleman that you were talking about, Tammy. But I really think that we have, as a whole, lost our way. And I say as a whole, and I say, and I say average because, you know, I hate the fact that we got to say not everybody,
Yeah.
right? So when you say as a whole, or when you say overall, or when you say average, hopefully that signals to people that, you know what, not everybody falls into this category. But we live in a society where you got to do that, right?
For
You got to
everybody,
do
you
that
have to
because
pinpoint. Yeah.
yeah, because people will get offended. Because if you say women do XYZ or men do this, then people, well, that ain't me. That ain't how I treat my man. And but why do I have to explain that we're not talking about everybody? But I think that we as a whole have lost our way. And I think that we've lost our way because nobody takes the time to understand themselves, let alone somebody else, right? Then, on top of that, it's all about convenience. What is it that I want, not next year or 10 years from now? What do I want today? Tomorrow, my mood might be different, and I'm going to live off of my mood. So, what is it that I want today? People live off of convenience. And respect is so broad now.
Rodney, do you
It's
think
hard.
men and women live off of that same convenience, or what are we speaking
I
about?
think they. I think both. I think we all
Both.
do. I think we all do. It's all about what is convenient for me, not necessarily the other person. Like, forget your convenience, but what is convenient for me? Do I want somebody? Like, is it convenient for me to be in this relationship because of your finances? Is it convenient for me to be in this relationship because I know that you're going to cook and clean and wash my dirty drawers and all, like, or is it convenient for me because of sex? Like, there's a convenience usually when it comes to people. And it is not what can I do for my fellow man, or what can I do to enhance my life and yours at the same time, but it is what can you do for me? And Tammy, I remember when I was like in high school and in college, like you had all of these older women trying to hook me up with their daughters. Why? Oh, you're such a nice man. Oh, you'd be perfect for my daughter. But they never thought about, well, is your daughter perfect for me? What does your daughter have to offer? They never thought about that. It was just what I could do for their daughters. And I think that like 30, 40, 50 years ago, times were different. You didn't have you didn't have the technology that we have today. You didn't have you didn't have social media and all of these things. And then back then, people at least had enough respect that even in their dirt, they still respected their significant other, or they still respected their house enough to where you like people just didn't, or I would say it wasn't as common, but you didn't, like, people didn't, like, if they were cheating, they wouldn't have like the person in their wife's bed, like, like they just didn't do that. Like, they might do that, they might they might do their thing, but they're gonna do it across town. But now people are so disrespectful, like they all up in the master bedroom. And it's like, wait a minute, bro. Like, you got that little respect for the woman that you decided to marry, that you're gonna do some trifling mess like this. And I'll say this, Tammy, that my final point. I'm gonna go back to what I was touching on last week. I think understanding is a huge thing, because I think that so many things fall under understanding. And like Nick said, sometimes, I mean, you're gonna have situations where it may appear that the man has more traditional female qualities or tendencies, and vice versa, right? But regardless, take the time to understand your mate. Understanding, I think, is key. You gotta know. You gotta know if they like to talk, if they don't like to talk, if they like the outdoors, if they rather sit on the couch. Um, you gotta know what it is. If I get a visitor in about 5 seconds, y'all, just roll with it. Uh, but you gotta know who you are with and who you're dealing with. And if you cannot handle it, if you can't, hi baby, come on, say hi, come and say hi. If you can't handle it, if you can't handle who they are, then you know what? Be by yourself. Come on, say hi. Who's that?
Brother Rodney, can I echo off of what you said, brother?
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute,
All right.
y'all gotta let me say hey to my baby.
Oh, my
Hi,
bad.
Nadia.
Who's that? Who's
Hi.
that? Who's that, Naughty?
That's Miss Tammy.
That's Miss Tammy. Who is that right there?
That's your day, brother.
That's your daddy brother. Go
Oh, y'all, if this doesn't like, this is, and I know people say that should never be your why, but like, look at there. I mean,
Where's
to
Miss
have
Mary? Ask Miss
your,
Tammy. Where's Miss Mary?
she wants to know where my mom is, you guys. So it's like to have the little ones grow up with their one and their one is
Yeah.
a beautiful. Like,
Miss
we
Mary.
don't look. Mr. Jimmy is in there. I'll get him for you before we get off. So, like, we don't think about all of this stuff before. Like, Ronnie, it's so true. You have to try to understand the guy, but the reason I think we fail in that, and Nick, I'm gonna turn over to you, is because we fail to truly get an understanding of ourselves,
Yeah.
who we are. Like, how
Yeah.
can I pick someone that I can understand and then become that one if I don't understand what I'm bringing to the table, what I'm
Yeah.
adding, and what I need off of that table, not want? Because, ladies, I said it last week, I'll say it again. I do feel that we want things that we do not need, and it adds nothing to the relationship. It actually makes it worse because now things cost money. Things that we want cost money. Things that we need cost money. And so I think
Right.
we're juggling so much. I used to look at people like, how are they doing this? I must be doing something from hair, makeup, nails, feet, toes, food. I'm just like, okay, where did I miss it? But that's not for everybody. I get it. So,
Right.
Nick, I'm gonna turn it over to you, and then after you, we'll get some of these comments in. We got quite a few comments, and I'll catch up on there. So, thank you guys. Keep them coming. We'll get them out.
Yeah. One of the things I hear from women, and listening to a lot of women is this idea, and I get it. I just want to be fair. I'm going to be objective before I, state how I feel about it. So there's this, and it drives to what Rodney's first point was. Um, there's this, when I listen to a lot of women, one of the biggest complaints that I hear is men that don't know how to protect, right? Um, and I hear that, and there is some truth to that. And when someone hasn't been taught or shown how or modeled what it means to be a protector, and I'm not even saying shoot them up, bang bang, protect them. I'm talking about praying is protection. When you're walking on the side of the street, where on the sidewalk, walking on the side, those things. You know what I'm saying? And however, what I also find kind of ironic too is some of these women out here with the most unapproachable, auras, but you expect a man to protect you. I don't understand. I don't understand that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't understand because when a woman carries the energy, I'm independent. I don't need no man. I don't need this. I don't need that. But if you were not used per se, but if that woman essentially got stranded in the middle of nowhere, right? Like, are you really that independent? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, are you really that independent? So it goes back to what the point Rodney made, is that you have some women who make expectations of a man to do this. Meanwhile, it's like pulling hair for you to just do the bare minimum.
Hello. Get a hello.
Or hello,
Yeah.
or a war, or you see what I'm saying? So why should I be obligated to protect you, but I don't get nearly as much back in demand? So how are you expecting something from me, but then when it comes for you, I couldn't even get a hey, how you doing? You'll turn your nose and walk the other way. But if you getting your ass whooped, excuse my language, you getting your ass whooped, then you want me to protect you. That don't make sense. It don't make sense.
I'm with you. I'm
You
with
bring
you,
up
Nick, but I want to hear Tammy's response. But
no,
Nick,
really.
I feel you.
He brings up a great point. I can say that not everyone, and I can say that I was that girl. And so that's why I'm so and I thought at that time I was justified, that I have a right to act like a damn fool. And really that's what it is. It's really a childish, it's childish, really. And it's really about, we have not grown up. We've not grown past the daddy issues, or the last hurt, the last sweat that dried on us. Now we're angry at the world. So there's a lot of things. And that's the reason I say, ladies, that, because I claim it. I've been there, done that. I've been there where I would literally walk around the house and not say anything for months because I'm so pissed. But what I really was doing was crying out. And I really wanted to be validated. I want it to be valued. The wrong way to try to get it. That's the reason I say, hey, between what is said and not meant, and what is meant but not said, relationships are lost, because it's easy for us to say those things that we don't mean to say value. So I get it. Rodney, I don't know if you remember Erica Murray, CEO to the Power of You, powerful Black woman, wrote this book, all of those things. And she put in there, you reminded me with the coffee situation, one of the things she said, that the ladies, we will go to work, we get that coffee for our bosses or whomever, if it's just someone that works, but we go in the door of our homes and we may speak and we may not, but if he just asks to get me something to drink, we have an issue. But at work, we smile, we put on the face. And I'm a believer now, on this side of Tammy, on this side of Tammy, whatever my man wants, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna try to get it. I'm gonna try to make it happen. And I enjoy it. I
Right,
enjoy it. But
right,
it's not just a one-way street. And
right.
that's what makes it different. But we pick them. Whomever you're with and however you feel about it, whatever the situation is, you picked her, you picked him. Was she wanting things that she did not need before? Were you getting them? Were you
Mm,
giving her the protection that she needed? Because something gets us there.
yep.
Something gets us there.
Right.
Whatever it is, it's not enough to keep us there. And we probably all know what, we probably have some speculation of what that is. But Rodney, I agree with a lot of that, with what Nick said.
I
And
now
Nick,
I have a couple of things too as well too, and I'm saying that to say that there's so much. You might want to quote this by some chance. What I'm about to say. I think there's so much men and women focus on independence, but what we really need is interdependence, right?
Mm.
We because we need each other, regardless. And there's nothing wrong with saying, in a healthy and constructive way, yeah, I need a woman to balance me out. I need that I need that feminine energy in my life, right? One of the things too that I heard too was, which is very interesting, is this thing of red flags, right? And with this thing of um, red flags, I use this analogy all the time, and I've even applied it to my life. And I think about a traffic light, right? I think so many times people are so hypersensitive to red flags that they see one thing and they're just like, "Oh my God, I gotta break." But here is how I kind of assess that. So I look at a traffic light, right? So a traffic light, you have red, you have yellow, and you have green, right? So when you see things that, now there are certain things that you can just see that's just a flash, like like Stevie Wonder could see them things flashing. You know what I'm saying? So like, but if there's certain things that you know that may have you to caution, how you get over that is where it goes from the yellow flag, to the red flag to the green flag, right? So how you get over conflict and how you deal with that conflict consistently is whether that goes from red to green, right? So you're going to have conflict, but how you deal with that is everything, right? And a lot of times it goes back to people see one thing and they're just like, oh my God, like I want to be careful about what I say, because when people say that when you see something the first time, believe them, I somewhat agree with that and I somewhat don't. Here's what I mean by that. I believe that we all make mistakes. We are all learning and growing and evolving, should be at least, right? So I think though, when a person takes personal responsibility, accountability for their error, right? That says a lot about that person. It speaks to that person's values, morals, and things like that, right? Problem is that we have a lot of people who may have had experiences where they have had they may not have had someone who has a level of accountability and responsibility and things like that. So and it clouds their perception to think that, you know what, everybody is, one thing that I see and it's just and that's it. And if we treated life that way, if I put to you like this, I'm gonna pull a Rodney Jordan sports analogy here. So you have a basketball coach, right? And I'm playing basketball, right? I make a mistake, right? We're running a motion offense, or I miss a defensive assignment, right? If a coach is going to yank me from making one mistake, yank me from the game and sit me on the bench, how am I ever going to play through and learn from the mistake? There are certain things that you have to go through and you have to learn from them, you grow from them, and you become better because of it. And a lot of times what happens is that when people make one mistake, and it's how you repair it, but people take that one mistake and they say, this is who you are, and all of that. It's not always true, right? And people shouldn't have to walk on eggshells just because of a mistake. We all make them. Own it, move it, grow on from it, and move on.
But Nick, that's the thing. We don't move on, like, because
Correct.
if you are going into a marriage, a relationship, thinking that the person is going to say what you need them to say, when you need them to say it, how, and even more importantly, meet your unexpressed expectations, because rarely do we express what we need, how we need it, and why. Because I feel like if I come to a guy, and let me say this, there's one way, this is one way that you can truly tell what type of relationship you have, if you can go and say anything, something, what hurt you, you hurt my feelings, this hurt, and explain, because sometimes people just don't know your starting point. They
Right.
just don't know. And now men and women, and men, I get it. Like, little boys are raised, men don't cry, get up, that doesn't hurt. When, if a child, a young boy or a young girl, a hurt is a hurt, pain is
Yeah.
a pain, I'm going to say that. So we teach them, hey, you cannot express your feelings, you cannot show emotion. And yet we tell the ladies that we should be able to, but that doesn't match up. Like, you
Correct.
have one person sharing emotion and another be like, I'm emotionless. I don't know what to do with this. And so you have to first want it, that relationship. You have to know what relationship means to you and make sure that it means the same for this other person, man, whatever. As a man, you should make sure that the woman understands what you need in a relationship, what you're looking for, down to how do we spend Christmas? What do we do on holidays? Because that, you guys, will eventually tear up marriage. If I'm always church, where will our kids go to school? Will you stay home? Those are the things we don't talk about. And then we get in and try to merge a life without knowing the person that we're trying to merge with. Conflict, that creates chaos. And we don't know how to deal with conflict. We don't know how to deal with conflict professionally. It just appalls me how what things go on behind the scenes in professional places. Accountability is out the door. And so people are at work frustrated. They come home to a frustrated relationship because what? There's no effective communication going on. There's no self-awareness going on. So I need these, no, I want these things to medicate me. I want all the things that's going to keep us working 9 to 5 plus some overtime, because you guys, like it or not, the things that you want is what you're trading your time for.
Mm.
Are they worth it?
Mm.
Like, is the red bottoms really worth a couple of more hours of work a week? I mean, I'm serious. And for the men, I mean, I'm saying red bottoms because men are
Yeah.
wearing them too. Like, I
Not
went,
the not
no,
the
seriously, I went to a church couple of, maybe a month and a half ago, when things were clearing back up. And I promise you, I saw bottom of that man's shoes more than I saw his face, because I feel like he wanted us to know he had on red bottoms. Not impressing to me. Like, number one, they're hitting the same pavement as everything else. I mean, I don't get it. But some people do. And that's their
Yeah.
thing. But my point there is they cost. So a lot of the things that we want keeps our man working. He may say,
Yeah.
what do you want? Do you want that? Or do you want me home?
Yeah, and
And
Miss Tammy, I'll say that, and this is where I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to speak up for the women as where I'm a fair guy. So,
I want to be fair.
right, absolutely. So one of the things that I'm just hard on, or challenge us to be better in, is knowing how to lead, not only just in life, because when we learn how to lead in life, lead ourselves, and guess what? We become better leaders when we're in not only in the community sense, but better leaders in the confines of a relationship as well too. And I I understand that when you haven't had that model to you, what it means to lead in a relationship, I can understand the limitation there, right? But when I mean to say that there are brothers out here where that is one of the biggest complaints I hear in women is men not knowing how to lead. And it is, and I'm not even just talking about, oh my gosh, planning a date. I mean that or like planning somewhere to go. Like that I understand, but when I think about leading, like I think about when I think about leading, I think about influence, right? I think about, It's not controlling by any stretch of the imagination, right? Being able to guide us, to direct us in areas in areas, right? And that's okay, because guess what? I look to God for counsel and leadership and things like that, right? And so what I hear is what I see is just a severe lack of leadership skills in men. And so many things, so many times our young boys are being taught, you screw a bunch of women and that's what makes you a man, right? We hear that since they're boys, but no one is really. I won't say no one. It's rare that you find someone who teaches men about like learning how to lead and what does that leadership look like. And that leadership looks like is going back to your values and morals. How do you lead yourself? Like how do you handle uncomfortable conversations? How do you deal with loyalty? How do you deal with integrity? How do you deal with those things? Because chances are, when you can't lead yourself, you can let me backtrack, because you can still follow. There's thousands of people who have influence every day long for the wrong reasons, right? Or for whatever reasons, right? But a healthy and constructive leadership style, where when someone can lead themselves, chances are they can lead someone else as well too. And this is my last point. And I kind of use the chess analogy. And this is what I tell a lot of men, brothers and stuff like that, when it comes to leadership. When you play chess, you can't just think about your next move. A really good chess player thinks about 2 and 3 moves down the line, right? So as a man, every decision that I make, I have to be firm in knowing not what just this move makes. What is the next? How are the 2 and 3 moves outside of that going to be impacted as well too? That is next level thinking. That's next level leadership. And those are skills that I think some men severely lack. And that is as a huge reason why, we have to be better. And the last point, this is a huge reason why there's such a breakdown and why some women just don't flat out respect men. I got to be fair.
I truly agree. I'm gonna read these comments before Trent take off his tights, because he's about to wreck my nerves with these comments. Yep, I said it. Okay, so Mark, thank you. As I said earlier, Trent says I read that one. He's saying that he had therapy today, so he's not getting in with us. Christine says, have myself a built-in trash can now, finally. So she's out of the game with that, Rodney. More stress in our lives, sometimes self-inflicted, often presence in marriages. Life was simple back then, all around, and there's some truth. I think that speaks a lot about the things that we want versus the things that we need. Because back in the day, red bottom shoes would not have that they would not have made it off the shelf, because no, just cost too much. More women stayed home. I would have a hell of a lot more patience for my hubby if I didn't work out of the home full time. And I agree, but I go right back, you guys. Back then, we slept 2 or 3 deep. Now we have, not saying you, Christine, but now every child has to have his or her own room. We don't, which leads to not knowing how to share. So my point is, many of the things that we work for, I wonder if we thought more about family and staying at home, because women who stay at home, in most cases, they get the short end of the stick. Society does not value them. And so even the women that I'd rather stay at home and sometimes choose my family, sometimes they're ridiculed about that decision. And studies have shown kids who have stay at home parent, I'll say stay at home parent, or someone there, someone to connect with. But a number of these things they cause other issues. I'll say that. Not saying yours, Christine, by any way, but certainly when you're working outside of the home and you have to come home and still be wife, mom, and all these things, it can get deep. Trent says, like women, men want a life partner who will be trustworthy, faithful, and reliable. They want a wife who will stand by their side through the bad times as they would be right there in the of thick of it when times are great. And so, I mean, of course, I think I think that's just a natural thing that they want it. But do we just think that we have it because we have a woman or we have a man? Or do we dig deep? Dating, the root word for dating is data. Do we collect the data? And when you collect it, what do you do with it? Because the sweat does not um, make the contract final. Marriage doesn't do that. So why would we think the sweat would? I just think we jump in too soon. Christine says, why do we have to be in defined roles? Christine, I think, and it may be defined roles. I don't know how else to say it, but in marriage and relationship, I think defining is helps you understand. And it's not about male or female power or not. It's just like work. We have defined roles at work, and those roles have come with expectations. And because if you don't, and it doesn't mean that, okay, we define them and then they are set in stone. Absolutely not. But with some definition, just something as simple as even like if a guy just assumes, oh, I married this woman and I prefer my wife stay at home until our kids are 3, 4, 5 years old. And then they don't find this out until after the marriage and after the kids and like, oh, I thought this is what you wanted. So I think maybe if you don't like define roles, understanding how do you do relationship? What do you think of the um male female roles, relationship, the understanding of marriage? Who does what? Do you because some men may expect women to cook every day. That may not be her thing. And so, if it's not a role, it is certainly things that society has said these are the things that are kind of expected. And some guys expect them, some women expect them. Some women might think, oh, I don't have to work. He's just going to take care of me all my life. And the man be like, oh, no, this is a day and time where everybody needs to work. So, I think roles is much about understanding than it is male and female roles. Just the breakdown of the relationship, maybe that an understanding of the relationship.
You hit Tim,
Tammy.
Miss Tammy. Sorry to interrupt. You hit right where I was getting ready to say because those roles are important because we have to know, and there's nothing wrong with it. We have to know where we're going, and in order to know where we're going, we have to know. And in working in a team environment, you have to know what your role is, right? And there's no shame, and there is you hit exactly what I was just getting ready to say. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
well
really
done.
think it is it's necessary. Christine said, I said alpha versus masculine energy for women. Okay, so she said, I get it now, Rodney. I think that's what you were talking about. So she says, can we say alpha rather than the masculine energy? And I've been hearing that word alpha for a while now, often, I guess I should say.
But
And she said maybe dominant.
Nope.
Um,
Mm-mm. I'm
but
not
you
gonna.
know what?
I can't buy that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Robbie. I'm sorry. I can't
okay,
buy that.
we got a few more comments, you guys.
Go
Hold
ahead.
on one
Go
second.
ahead. Go
So
ahead.
Mark says marriage back then was the thing to do. Part of a man getting a job and starting a family. Hmm. Okay. Hate to say it, but kind of like Mr. on the color purple, minus the kids. Women were sheltered and only got to know a very small part of freedom in life. Maybe being raised with 10 or more siblings. Perhaps helping to raise younger siblings and growing up faster. learning directly from her mother how to run the house. So getting married offered a slice of freedom, and or independence. Men worked. For some reason, Mark, it got cut off. Men worked a back, but I don't see anything after that. Marriage present day is merging of two small companies. Whoa. That's deep. Great point, my brother. I agree 1000%. That was Trent's reply to Mark. And then Mark says, Black men can't make mistakes in America. Mary KK, I got it. Mary KKK. Uh, Deep, Mark, for sure. Christine, we just need Tammy Gator to come live with us. Absolutely. I come at a very high cost, though, Christine, because I do much. So, and Christine says, don't call her masculine. I won't accept that. Insert
No,
vigorous head shake like you. So,
nope.
great points, you guys. Great points. So, I wonder, masculine. So, Christine, I need more information about that. Christine, what is it about that word masculine? And do you associate yourself with it, but just would like it to be identified as alpha rather than masculine? Tell me more about that. Um, I want to throw something out, you guys. Proverbs, I think it's 19 says, I'm going to try to find it. Hold on. But a prudent wife is from the Lord. This is Proverbs 19. House and wealth are an inheritance from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. And I think you mentioned, Nick, about the future, women wanting men to be able to, I guess you were talking about men wanting to be able to not just look at the now, but look forward. I thought it was interesting when you said that because I had seen this verse that a prudent wife is from the Lord. And prudent basically is about showing care about or thoughts about the future. And so the reason that was interesting to me because not all of you, but last week we got into the discussion about women wanting versus men needing, and it's gonna sound like I'm hating on you guys, on the ladies, about these things that we want, but some of the things we want certainly do cut out some future things of the future that really matter, that really matter. Because at the end of the day, there's so much value in just sitting, talking, and being able to enjoy family time. And I really believe that we are missing out. I had the opportunity to sit with my grandfathers. We slept on the front porch, pulled the TV outside and the fan, if that's not country, and listened to our grandfathers while we had the paper bags doing the peas. I mean, that was connecting. And in a sense, I feel we have lost connection with our family, friends, and especially the women the woman that we marry, the man that we marry, that we have children with. There is no connection. It's just like Mark said, it's just two small businesses that are going to stay small forever. And who wants to start a business and it never grows to a Fortune 500 company? Like, why would we do that? And there are some people who are making marriage look really easy. Just like there are some good men, there's some good women. There are people who have gotten together and they're doing this thing and they're enjoying doing it. But there's a lot of people who are just running the course, just running the course. And
And,
I don't know why we would get married to run the course. Somebody said something. I don't know if it was
oh, I was about to share Christine's response.
okay.
She
I didn't
said,
see it here.
"Oh, she texted me. She said I
Okay.
am a female." She said, "She said I'm a female and identify as a strong woman." Well, first she said masculine is male, and she said it. I'm a female and identify as a strong woman. That doesn't make me masculine. If a woman had huge muscles as a power weightlifter, Is she masculine? No. She is strong and powerful, still a woman. She said, but I still want my man to take a bullet for me.
Mm. But I'm when I speak about masculine and feminine, I'm speaking about energy, and there's a certain energy that a masculine person has. There are masculine energy traits, and there's feminine energy traits, right? And the key is balancing them both. Here's the problem. Here's another problem I have with a lot of women today. I'm gonna go there. That's a perfect example. So when a man says, "Hey, this is too much masculine energy for me," you have women who turn around and say, "Well, I'm strong. I'm this. I'm that." But do you consider what the man is saying? Men, we have this issue too. But do we really listen to one another without trying to defend who we are? Do we consider? Do we give it a slight bit of consideration and say, you know what? Maybe he might be right. Maybe I'm strong, but maybe I can come across as being very this, and this carries masculine energy, right? Feminine energy is very warm. It's very inviting. Like it balances out the competing nature of a masculine man, right? It's just the energy. It has nothing to do with the gender of it. It's just the energy of it. And what I always say is that I hear a lot of women today who will say they want a masculine man when they have masculine energy, and then turn around and judge that man for not being masculine.
So are you saying the masculine energy is more of, I think I get it, but it's hard to, I can see where she's coming
Right,
from
right.
with it, but because it's hard to kind of put the energy part out there. And I was trying to think of a good example, but I don't know if this would even come close either. So, because I think we're getting masculine confused with being a strong woman. And there's truly a difference. Like you can be a strong woman, but still have that nurturing, like you're so nurturing but strong until your nurturing, your ladylike still exudes you, like it still
Absolutely.
goes before you.
Absolutely.
um Whereas if you have a masculine man who is alpha, and most of them, I guess most men we see as alphas, right? Am I right on that? You guys help me.
I
Because
I'm gonna be
this
honest
is
with
the
you.
kind of, okay, so I think so, where you get, if you say you're alpha woman and alpha man, that means two strong people. And I think we get confused when with strong and powerful women, because put everything down, I think women are powerful.
Yep.
We are strong, powerful women. It's just that some of us have gotten it twisted, and we lose. It's like Brandon told me on an interview, something we were doing. I believe it was on the Butterfly Revolution radio show, Rodney. And we had some young people on. And I asked the question, I think I shared this: what could I have done differently? What is it that I could have did just a little bit different? And he said, I would have liked to see my mom just in the pure essence of a mama, of a woman. Whereas there were times where I felt like I had to be both. Like I had to be mom and I had to be dad. I had to be soft and I had to be hard. I had to play both roles. And it came a time where I realized that I couldn't. Like I cannot be, no matter how strong I think I am, how powerful I am, this is still a young man who needs a man. He just needs a man because he looks at me as the weaker vessel, mama or not. I had this child, but he looked at me as, I am your protector for now. I'm here. I'm it. So it was kind of hard sometimes to try to stand up and be this strong mom to this young man who thought he should be protecting me. One more story. We were doing a seminar for a conference with young kids, and we had a young man stand up, and I'd asked a question that was I don't remember the question, but this young man's answer was so far from my question until I had to say, stop, let's address this. His answer was, I hate that I treat my mom so bad, but I really wish I could just help her. And so here, this 14-year-old young man who, when we dug deeper and he let it all out, he and his sister were alone, and mom was working two jobs, trying to make ends meet, still failing. Yet he's angry with her because they're in a situation, and him as a young male felt like I should be able to take care of this situation. And you guys, this is the reason how sometimes we judge young boys who choose the streets. But if a young boy sees his mom and his sister hungry, lights off, someone says, "I can help you get some loot," or whatever you call it. Guess what? And there's no uncle around, there's no daddy. I know I'm getting off here, but I'm just trying to show this power thing that we sometimes as women feel like, and not you, Christine, but sometimes we feel like we can step up and be that man. We can step up, but in some cases, it's not what a young boy needs. There's something about the presence of a man, a strong, powerful, secure, work his ass off for his family man. There's something about that presence that will move and that will change everything. Everything. I had to learn to sit my little ass down and be quiet sometimes. And that was hard for me. That was hard for me. But I had to learn to sit down and shut up. And if I had a complaint, take it to God. Take it to God. There is nothing more precious than a man who takes care of his family, who protects his family, who will ride or die and will honor and value his woman. There's nothing more special than a woman who respects her man as head of the house. Not saying she's powerless. She's saying, you know what? I understand this shape. I understand this makeup. I don't want it. I got to a point like, I don't want it. My hands off. I don't want it because I couldn't do all that in my head. I didn't want to. I wanted to be the soft one. I wanted to cook. I wanted to fix the plates. I wanted to clean the kitchen. Y'all go watch football. Go do something. But that's me. But I'm telling you, for me, it brings joy. It brings liberty. It just brings me back to a place where I feel like it brings me for me back to like grounded foundation. Like this is it. I had to learn there because my mouth would shoot off, the neck would roll. I was angry. I was still hurting, and I bought all that crap. So total difference between what we want and what we need. And this is not just the red bottoms, you guys. This is internally. Because, like I said last week, I think I said it this way: when we find out what we need, what we want becomes what we need. I truly believe that. But it's all inwardly. It's all inwardly. Rodney, you say this best. If when you if the I'll say if the man makes you happy, the man can make you sad. When he goes, you're gonna be sad. You have to be your own shit. And I'm gonna say it just like that, y'all, because I feel we're at a point in time where if I come up and say, "Oh, we gotta be good," y'all don't hear that. We don't want to hear that. We just don't want to, and that's just how it is. So I'm gonna ask you, ladies, to just try it. Whatever you think you want from your man, are you giving it? And I'm not letting men off the hook. I'm just telling you, if you give, I do this in my life coaching. I tell people, if you want to talk to going through breakups, oh, I love him, I want him, I'm angry, I don't want to talk to him. I said, no, if you want to talk to him, call him. The more you call, hey, the more that thing is going to be worked out. The more you run from something, the more it's in you because you're running. It's chasing you down. But if you stop and deal with that thing, I had to stop and deal with me. And a lot of us, we say we love God. We say we believe in relationship and marriage, and we will oftentimes, I love this, how people think. I love to talk about this, how we think we are supposed to love our neighbors. I feel we got that twisted because charity starts at home. And I'm going to say for the ladies, charity starts with your man. For the man, charity starts with your woman. And the only reason you know that and you can do that if it has started within you. We don't even know how to honor ourselves. We feel some kind of way about that. Because I'd be damned if I'm going to give somebody that much money for red bottom shoes and my name ain't on it. No, I'm not. And I'm going to walk it on the pavement. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not, but that's me. So it's why you do it. Because oftentimes why we do it will tell you much about what you want, why you want it, why. So that's just Tammy's perspective. I had to learn to grow up. I had to learn to be a woman. I had to learn to be a mom because women need men around to help them parent. And if that father is not there, those brothers should be stepping up. Those uncles should be stepping up. Those cousin men should be stepping up because that's what I saw. That's what I saw. All the men were coming at you, and they could have been the biggest hoes. They could have had the wife. And that's another thing, you guys, if they had the wives, if they had the wife, and the man I spoke to Saturday, he actually talked about this. He said the man might have had another woman 2 streets down, but you bet believe she wasn't going to disrespect his wife. And he wasn't going to disrespect his wife. So she had to be okay with being behind the doors, and you better stay behind the doors. I don't think that's right. But hey, it is what it is, different times. But we're dealing with the same stuff today, and we know about it. We know about it. Women, we chase men so much so to I talk to men who said, I don't even want it anymore. It's not hard to get. I don't have to work for it anymore.
I don't know about that part.
No, seriously, you because you tied up. But there, if you men are a lot of men feel that way today. Like there's no chase in it. Rodney, I don't know if you remember the guy I bought on the show because of something he said to me at the club. He's like, "What you want, do 100 women would." I said, "Well, you better go find them 100 because you just ran into the one that's not." I'm just appalled at how men will approach women today. Some, and I'll say boys, but for him to be that comfortable in approaching women that way tells me that women are accepting of it. So we can come on and play the game, show the game, but it's what we do with those guys behind when no one's looking. This guy said, "What you want to do? 100 women would." I bought him on the show. I'm like, I need you to explain to me what you meant by that. He said, just that. Women are doing everything. They're paying our way. They're doing this. You can tell them I'm going to go and get with Missy over here, and I can call her back in 2 days, and she's going to be trying to show up, and I can come on over there too. So, I mean, ladies, my grandmother told me the dog can't play if the cat's not out there. See, that's just it. They can't. They can't. We don't teach little girls, keep your legs closed. You have on a dress. You don't know how many little girls I've said, baby, you have on a dress, close your legs. That's telling you that you have something valuable. Valuable. It's not for everybody. So we have to do better as adults, as mothers, as fathers, as aunties, as cousins, school system, whatever it is. Whatever it is, we have to do better because we are losing our young people. We are losing marriage. The whole essence of marriage just seems null and void now. So, and it's not just men and it's not just women, you guys. It is us. This is us, as the movie says, or whatever that show is. This is us.
Tammy, I think that we have to
Mark is crazy.
either get, huh?
I was looking at the comments. I said, Mark is crazy.
I
Mark is
think that
funny.
we either have to get to, and I want to say get to because I don't know how many of us were ever at this point. I feel like our previous generations were, but um, we have to get to a point where we value things like respect, decency, manners, and I feel like that was more of a thing of the past, and we've lost our way. We've turned into people that thought that life was so bad when we were growing up that now we give our kids everything. And instead of being a good mate, a good spouse, we've turned it into a competition. I got to make sure I don't get played. I got to make sure I don't get used. Instead of, you know what? And Tammy, this goes back to something that you said earlier. Um, we're so busy trying to cover up for the fact that we picked the wrong person to begin with. And so now we're trying to explain, or we're trying to come up with all these things that will make us look better, when just admit that you did not pick a good person to be with to begin with. You just didn't. And it is okay. You're not the first person who did that. It is okay. If we would learn to lead with love,
Mhm.
then we get a lot further in whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. And I don't care if that is with somebody that you want to call your spouse or significant other. I don't care if that's with your family. I don't care if that's with your job. It could be with your neighbors. It could be in the grocery store. But when we decide that we want to lead with love, then we can get to where. I'm not going to kiss you behind. That I'm just not going to do. I'm not going to kiss you behind. However, I will admit to you when I'm wrong. I will take ownership for the things um, that I do that are offensive, that are wrong, and I'll do that in every aspect of my life, right? But when it comes to relationships, when it comes to men and women, there's no respect anymore. There's no love there. There's this false sense of hope and this false sense of security because we're too busy playing games with ourselves and with other people. We're too busy playing games. And it's more important for us to be able to say, well, my man did this, or my man did that, or my girl would never try that with me. Like, we're so busy trying to be big and bad that we forget who we are. And I think oxymoron is the right word, but I don't like when people talk about strong woman. You know why? Because to me, women are strong. So if I'm talking about women, I'm talking about a strong person anyway. I don't need to call you a strong woman because to me, a woman is strong. To me, a woman is classy. I don't have to use all these adjectives to talk about women because in my mind, if I can call you a woman, You are all of these things. You are intelligent. You are strong. You are classy. You are wife material, whatever that means, because I don't think you're material anything, right? But you are all of these things. I don't need to specify good dad versus bad dad. I don't need to do that. I don't need I don't need on Father's Day to all the good fathers are good. I don't need to go into all of these details. And I think that contributes to the problem because we're trying to define what a good woman is. We're trying to define what a strong woman is. Now I don't need to do that. To me, you're a woman. To me, you're a man. And you know what? The men I know handle their business. I don't need to call you a good man, strong man. I don't need to call you all these things. Because if I can call you a man, to me, that's a term of respect. The fact that I can call you a lady, because and maybe this is not everybody's thought, but when I think about a lady is like, up here. Because if I didn't think you were a lady, I'd call you a tramp or something else. And so I think we have to get out of these labels and these titles and trying to justify every single thing. Because I think it does more harm and more damage than it does good. Because you know what? If I was not married to Tamaria, I don't think I'd be married today. I'm married because of who I'm married to. And that doesn't mean that Tamaria does everything that I like, right? That doesn't mean that Tamaria, Tamaria is just like me. Like it doesn't mean all of those things. But you know what? I can say I'm married and be happy about it. I can say I'm married to Tamaria and be proud of it. I don't I don't need other people's approval. I don't need to, she did this today, or she got on my nerve, yesterday. Like that stuff does not matter to me. What matters to me is I can be proud of the fact that I married to Mary. What matters to me is I can call or I can talk about Tamaria being Nadia's mother and not have reservations about it. Like those things are important. And I think like I was saying last week, we've never argued or had a conversation about money. Something needs to be done or something needs to be paid, we pay it. Right? We're not arguing about this. We're not arguing about, I'm tired tonight. I don't want to touch you. You don't touch. Like what? No, no, no. Like we don't have these arguments. Like it just flows. It just goes. And you know what? And Tammy can tell you all, like when Tammy did and I encourage everybody to do it, and I hope Tammy talks about it before we get off the air. But when we did the life language assessment, Mary and I were completely the opposite. Like we were the complete opposite. And you know what? If you know me and you know Tamari, it makes a whole lot of sense. Right? Tamari likes to talk, I like to listen. It don't bother me. You know what? Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Get it all out. But that like Tamaria, Like I can sit in silence. Like I can sit next to you for for a whole day and not a word be spoken. It don't bother me. I will never think that you're mad at me. It just don't bother me. You know, but we know these things. Have they caused disagreements? Have they caused like argument? Of course.
Mhm.
You know what? But when it's all said and done, you can't change the fact that love is here.
Yeah.
And we lose sight of that as people. Who gives a doggone who goes to the grocery store? Don't nobody care.
So don't.
Groceries need to be bought. Go
Right, you
buy
bring
them.
up a good point because a lot of people do keep score. Like I mean,
I ain't got
and
time.
again, like they
That's
keep
not all I'm
score, and
for.
so
I ain't
there's
got
so
time.
yeah, and that is, and that's what I meant by y'all. You have to grow up, and you just have to be like, okay, um, we're in this together, and sometimes you have to catch the ball, sometimes I have to throw it, but it's easy to say that, and it's hard to display that if you're holding on to things. We talked about that, things we bring into the relationship that has nothing to do with the guy or the girl that we're with, all those things, even down to what we want and what we need. You have to dig deep, you have to go back, and you can it is so much about understanding. And Rodney mentioned that last week. We tend to judge that which we do not understand, and
Yeah.
rarely do we take the time to understand. I really believe that we're all one conversation away from the marriage that we want, from the husband or the wife that we want, from the professional relationship, the conflict at work. We're certainly one conversation away from there. We don't want the truth. We don't want our truth. We don't want the truth from the people who love us. We avoid it at all costs, and then we expect the world and people to just show up and get us.
But Miss Tammy, it's interesting you say that because I think I may have mentioned something about it last week when I said that this is why we have to be have an awareness of ourselves in order to understand well an awareness of ourselves, right?
Uh,
And once we understand who we are, why we are the way that we are, and things like that, it makes it easier to communicate that, right? To someone and things like that. And you're right, like it whew, like there. I am a believer of relationships. I'm a believer of healthy relationships and all of that. But man, you're right. We're all just one conversation away. And I just feel like sometimes that a lot of times the people want convenient, they either want convenient truth or denial. And you have to get real with who you are, everything. And it's very hard for someone to fall in love with who you are when you don't know who the hell that you are or you running from who the hell you are. Do you know
mhm.
what I'm saying? Because what ends up happening is, I I guarantee it that this will happen. The stuff that you will deny will end up coming in the relationship. The truth
Oh,
will see the light.
absolutely, absolutely.
And so this is the reason why I say whatever past traumas people have, whatever baggage people have, we all have it, but it's a reason why at the airport that it's the reason why at the airport why there's a baggage claim area, and the reason why certain luggages have to be a certain weight. You cannot go to the next destination with all of this weight, right? So we have to treat our relationships the same way. You cannot go into a relationship with all of this weight and expect to go to the next destination. It doesn't work. It's going to be a sinking ship, right? So, like, the thing of really getting to the essence of who we are, it goes back to us, how truthful we are. We say we want vulnerability, but how vulnerable are you with yourself?
Right.
How how do you show up for yourself? How are you intimate with yourself? And a lot of times people want to deny that stuff. And I get it. People deny it because of, maybe, they weren't accepted when, whatever childhood experiences. So I do understand that. But fear and love do not coincide with one another. And one thing that I know is that when you are living in your truth and you're speaking from your truth, I'm telling you, there's more compassionate people that's out here who'll be able to say, you know what? I have my own shit as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Whew, I can do a whole just on truth. Oh my gosh,
I'm
that
going to
is
say
a
this.
necessary component.
I'm going to say this, and again, ladies, just because this is where I am and how I'm trying to be. If you open up, you're vulnerable. And there's a difference between vulnerable and opening up and being a fool. Because, ladies, we know when we're being played. I'm sorry, we know when we're being played. We just have that and we have it within us. But try the best way to say this and the shortest way to say this for the sake of time is try being what you want and try giving what you need. When you do that in a relationship and it goes sour, it is so easy for you to walk away. It is so easy for you to close the door behind you or just leave it open and let them see you walk away. But so I'm going to say that again. Make sure that you are giving, make sure that you're giving what you're expecting, what you want. Make sure that you're doing it. Make sure you're being vulnerable. If you want vulnerability, if you want honesty, make sure you're being honest. All those things. Do what you need or give what you need from the other and be what you need them to be. Be that to them and to yourself as well. And if you don't get it back, guess what? You got to go because once you give it all, and I'm not talking about the bad stuff. Once you give all of you, your emotions, your feelings, once they know what triggers you and why, especially I was triggered by that because, hey, this is what happened to me and this is how it made me feel. And I'm dealing with this. And you remind me of this situation. I'm not saying you are the situation, but you remind me because I'm still healing from that. You tell a man that and they don't respect that soft place, that still painful place, and want to be the guy that makes it right to heal that space, you're with the wrong guy. You're not going to be protected. And you damn sure ain't going to fix the coffee, I hope, because you need to be leaving. You need to go. Because once they know, they have a choice. Same with men. Same. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like it all starts with you and it ends with you. If you're with somebody and you feel like this is not it, then you need to say, what did I miss? Why is it not it? Because sometimes it could be it, but you're just not it at the time. It's not always about the other person. Maybe you're not it. Maybe you're afraid that you're not it. And that takes some deep soul searching. So
Yeah,
um
like I said, Miss Tamara, I say all this, and and I I will say that I am a believer and I've seen enough healthy relationships that I know that they exist, right?
exactly.
But one thing that we have to really get a hold of is I'm just gonna throw a number, 7 billion people here on Earth, planet Earth, right? And I'm gonna use a very small subset, and yes, this may be people's experience. So I want to be empathetic and compassionate to that. But if someone's experience off of 20 people and you then generalize a whole, you know, population based off of a small sample size of 20, like that person, the person who could be in your life doesn't even have a fighting chance. This is even with dating. If you haven't healed from that stuff, when that person comes at your wall is going to be so high. And I always use the wall analogy as this. You have two houses, right? You have one house that doesn't have a fence that is pretty much you can walk up to it, ring the doorbell, and things like that, right? Then you have the other house. It has a 50-foot fence, has barbed wire on the top, right? You have to climb over that fence, get over the barbed wire, just to get to the other side of the other side to where the house is at. And then there's 3 pit bulls running around there, right? So this is before you even get to the doorstep. You get to the doorstep, you ring the doorbell, there's security cameras everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so like there's security cameras everywhere. So what I'm saying is to say that we really do have to release, all of that stuff that's holding us down, because we will never be in we will, I'm gonna say never. We won't be able to experience transformative relationships as they should be. We're so weighed down.
I'm gonna say this as we work to close, you guys. We are, and stick around because I have a video that I'm gonna try to show you guys just to get us out of here. Um, I was supposed to, I think it's the Showstoppers. Lord, forgive me if that's the wrong name, but I was gonna dance with the Showstoppers tonight. And I just couldn't make it, so I said, listen, I'll just play a video of you guys dancing. So this is my mom's group. They dance. They do really well. And so they're doing some different things and needed some more people to come out and dance with them for a video. And I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. So I'm going to try to play this. You would love it. It's a really good video of the group dancing. So that's how we're going to end. So don't leave. Um, I just hope that you guys are encouraged. And if it's not for a relationship, I love what Brother Mark has put out here. So I want to catch some of these comments. But there's one that has really caught my eye because it's one of my favorites. That old African proverb is better to help build in a child than to invest in a broken man. How do we reteach Black women and men to love, learn, and nurture in nation build? That is so deep. And you guys, that's what it comes back to, that we are trying to rebuild brokenness, shattered souls, shattered spirits. And we've gone and we've endured a lot. But once we know what has happened, where we come from, what it has caused, then we have a responsibility to fix it. And we have a real issue with unifying, with being one as people. Thus, we take that into merging two beautiful souls in a marriage and building a family. Like, you can have the perfect builder, the number one, the top builder in the world, construction, whatever. No one builds a house without any issues. It could be so small, but it's still something that you got to redo, remake, change, tweak. And we just don't want to do that. We just think that these relationships come easy. And I just say it's worth the work if two people are willing to work it. And it's that simple. I would not want to be out here looking at this time in my life trying to find someone that speaks to my spirit, because my spirit listens, and it hears a lot. And I want to talk about what I'm hearing. I want to talk about what I'm seeing. So, and I just say we all deserve it. We all deserve that relationship that takes us beyond any conversation that we could imagine having. You just don't get it by chance. You don't. You don't. And I'll say this, if you want to play, then leave the babies where they are. Just leave them, because we have enough broken men and enough broken women. And broken man, broken woman is going to raise a broken child. And here we go again. The cycle. The generational curses. How we stop generational curses, we stop doing what they did to make them. You know better, you do better. You know better, you choose better. You choose better, you live better. You live better, you are better. Whatever better is for you. Just don't make better what's better for someone else. Don't get caught up in the wants. Know what your soul, what your spirit needs. And stop, women, stop copycatting. Stop looking at other women. Men, same for you. Stop looking at other women. Men, I'm joking. Y'all can laugh. Why did y'all mute out? What's up? Are you asleep?
No, that's
I keep
true.
myself on mute. Listen,
Yeah, no, that's the truth.
as an educator, I've learned to keep myself on mute unless I'm talking.
Oh, yes. Thank you for that. That could get you in trouble. So as we close, I'm going to read these really quick. And you guys, if I miss you, I'm sorry. We will, I'll go down pretty quick here. Let's see. I think I got marks there. Christine says that all circles back to communicating, right? I think she was talking what we were talking about, what we were speaking of earlier. Mark says, I don't cook, I don't clean, but I got that ring, Cardi B. Let's see. Trent says, exactly, Rodney. Jordan, I guess that was something to what you were speaking of earlier. Rodney Jordan dropping jewels, good stuff, bruh. That's from Trent. There it is. And I'm thinking he's probably talking about going inward, turning that mirror in. Christine says Rodney and Tamara should write a book. I read Mark's message about the old African proverb. Thank you for that, my brother. Tamara Jordan, you hear this? Rodney Jordan's dropping bombs. I see you, my brother. Trent's just trying to get some points from you, Rodney, because I haven't heard anything that you would say. He would say that you said that he would say. Mark says women submit, men surrender. We're gonna have to get Mark on the show. Deep stuff. Scorekeeping, yes, that's a tough one to let go sometimes. It really is, Christine. It really is. But hey, once you admit that it is, the game is won because you're intentional about changing. I really think one of the greatest things we can do is call things out as they are, put them on the table. So, any announcements? Anybody want to remind you guys that Trent will be on Sunday? He's coming back with his first show, so if you can join him on Sunday, I think it's at 7 o'clock.
There are some good things happening for my family, but we'll save them for another time. I really want this week to be about Trent coming back to the fold. I'm excited, and I am planning to tune in. Um, Looking forward to it. I think the work that we do is very important, and I think that it is also underrated and undervalued. And I remember Tammy, so many nights it was just you and me. Um, Not really the support or the audience or the connections. Um, but I'm glad that we stuck with it. I'm glad that we have engaged more people, especially people that we know, or like people that we know. Um, but this has really been a blessing, and I always think about, if it's not doing anything for anybody else, what is this doing for me? And I often reflect on the conversation. The next day, days later, I have conversations with other people. hey, this is what we were talking about on our radio show the other night. What do you think? And it's funny because the friend I was talking about earlier, who mentioned, stepping in front of a bullet and the coffee, he was like, "Oh, dial me," and I was like, "Oh, we about to get off, bro." But one day it will probably be good to have him on because I think that he does. I won't say offer advice because I think it's more so something to think about. Now, whether we agree or disagree, I think he at least offers a different perspective, a fresh perspective. And I think we need that more than we realize. And I even think that we need that in relationships. And I think that's why relationships suffer because we don't want to be challenged. We don't want to think different. We don't want to know different. Tammy, I was brought back yesterday to a show that you and I did a couple of years ago, I think, about unlearning and relearning.
Mhm.
I heard some people talking about that on the radio yesterday. And it is so hard for us because you know what? Mama said, grandma said, friends said, teachers said. And so it's the gospel. And it's like, no, take the time to evaluate what it is that you've learned, what it is that you've heard, and how does it apply, and does it apply? And if it doesn't, what can you do with that information? You don't have to disregard grandma or disrespect mama, but what you can do is take what you've heard or what you've learned from them and make it better. And that should be our goal. If Nadia decides that she wants to be a teacher when she grows up, I want Nadia to be a better teacher than I was, that I am. If I never get a PhD, I want Nadia to go and get one, right? Like I want Nadia to be better than me in those ways. Other than that, like it really doesn't matter. She doesn't have to try to go and like, oh, well, daddy did this and daddy did. No, no, no. Be your own person. Be your own person. And I think it's important to let your mate be themselves. Because if you give them the opportunity and the space to be themselves, I wonder what you would get if you gave your woman the opportunity to be herself and you're not in her face. You're not telling her what she should do, or you're not constantly questioning her. I wonder if she would cook for you more, if she would do your laundry unexpectedly, if she would clean more. I wonder if she would do those things. I wonder if your man would do those same things if you didn't bother him. I wonder if he would cook for you more often. I wonder if he would do your laundry. I wonder if he would take care of you the way that you want to be taken care of. I wonder what we would have if we didn't try to force it. Because you don't have to tell me to be a good man. You don't have to tell me how to be a man. I already know how. What I need is for you to give me the opportunity to do it. Just give me the opportunity. If I don't do it, you have every right to walk away. You have every right to criticize me. But if you give me the space, I wonder, and I say give me the space, but I'm talking on behalf of men, right? I'm talking on behalf of women. If you give people the space to be great, I wonder if they would exceed your expectations. That's all I got. I'm gonna flip it over to Nick, and then Tammy, we can close out. I'm good. This has been great, Tammy. This has been great. Thank you for doing this, Tammy.
Do you have anything, Nick?
I'm gonna keep it quick. I just want to say, you know, we all share perspectives here, but one thing that we all can agree on is that we believe in healthy dynamics of a relationship, marriage, and things like that. We have some stuff to do of getting better to connecting relationally with one another. But I do believe that like Rodney said, I've learned a lot for myself as a man because of these discussions and things like that. So thank y'all. Seriously, but we have work to do, and it's up for us to create what we need in our lives. It's up to us.
Thank you guys. And I want to say just a little bit, and I'll be quick and I'm gonna put the video on. So y'all stick around. And again, I think I said this is my mom's group. It's not my mom's group. It's the group that she dances with. She used to be, I'm going to give her a shout out because I was supposed to go with her tonight, but I didn't. She was a grizzly grandma dancer, a grizzly grands or whatever they called them for many, many years. And now she's a part of a group called Showstoppers. Craig Wright leads it. So remember that name, Craig Wright. Go send him a message after watching the video and let him know you liked it. But this is what I'm going to say. I wonder what would happen if we just sat down and had that conversation. Like if we just had a real conversation about things and let people let them be, but also be an example of what you are looking for them to be, what you're judging them about. Because I believe we attract who we are, what we are, or something in us. We attract it. So I say this, if you're finding yourself in a mess, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Talk to yourself. See what you see. Don't walk away and not remember what you saw. So I'm all for that conversation. Bluff City Leadership, if anybody's needing life coaching, marriage coaching, relationship coaching, need someone to speak at a seminar, it's all about communication. Again, we're one conversation away from the breakthrough that we need in any given situation. So I stand firm on that. BluffCityLeadership.com, or you can connect with me through Facebook, just send me a message, or from the website, BluffCityLeadership.com. I think that's all. We'll be back next Tuesday. We may switch it up. We may have something next Tuesday different from this. But if so, we'll pick back up with a little bit more on this. Excuse me, we'll go away with it after that probably and then come back later because you guys tend to like the relationship stuff. And Rodney talked about us with Butterfly Evolution on the Blog Talk. Those shows are still out there on my page, on his page. Hey, research us. We're on the other platforms as well. We reached close to 100,000 listeners, gosh, probably last year sometime, I guess. So I don't know what we're up to now, but I think that's pretty damn good, Rodney Jordan, don't you?
I think it's wonderful.
Yep, exactly. And he's right. Like there were nights when I was like, I don't care if nobody comes. God has put something in me and I got to get it out.
Nick, that is true.
Like really, I would talk to myself because hey, you guys, I'm here and I've been doing this a long time, but real life happens to me. Like it happens and I have to practice what I preach. And I don't always get it right, but I know when I'm getting it wrong and I know when I'm getting it right. And I call myself out on it because I just want to grow. I just want to grow. Where I'm planted, I want to grow. So, and I want to know the right water, whatever, the right sunlight, what I need. So that's it for me. Thank you. Thanks to everyone that joined us, that stayed, because I know we've been on for a bit longer, started a little late. So thank you guys. Don't leave because I want you guys to see this. And of course, I got to make sure, hope I can do it. So don't leave. I'll know if you left. Everybody, I'll know. I see you dropping off. So don't leave. Watch my mom and their dance team dance and go and give them a shout out. So stay there, and I'm going to share the screen, and I hope it works. I'm going to take myself out so that it won't be doing all that talking. Well, all right, let me end it here.
Good night, everybody.